Again with the project Pathfinder. So worked on some welding work. I think I posted on previously. It didn't come out beautiful, but it did what I needed. See all that framing on there is capped off. Now that I've got those holes filled, it should be strong enough to hold the seat frame. And like I said, not beautiful, but it won't let a bunch of dirt and mud get in there. Right now I just need to get this thing kind of patched up just to get it through the alignment process and back on the road. I can clean it up, make it look prettier later. But the Amazon mud tires I slapped on it. Just got the stock off-road Pathfinder rims. I just painted black. They came out pretty nice though. I like them. Nothing special, but they look pretty good, and they really kick out once. Hopefully the alignment's a little straighter. It'll look better, but right now, you know, it's not terrible. And I've got the wheel spacers on there to really bump it out. So sticking out past the fenders a little bit, so it really gives it a beefy look. Also gives it the possibility of slinging mud all over the damn place. But here's the front Mickey Thompsons I talked about in my last video that I initially bought for quite a pretty penny. They were almost, what, $3.50 I think a piece, and because of the bad alignment it just kind of ruined them. But so moving on, this is my current project. I'm just going to get one more bolt off this side step, and this thing is going bye-bye. Not that it's a problem, but I just like it better without it. I'll show you the other side. I don't know. Looks better. It's easier to get in with this in there, but it's just going to get hung up or snapped off anyway if I drop it in any real mud. Got the back bumper painted. Got the hitch receiver painted. And moving on to this side, I'm still working on this fender flare, which is just about done. The prepping that I wanted to redo, it needs to be smoothed out a little bit more. You can see the arch is not perfect, but it's a lot better than a rusty hole running from one side of the door to the other. And here's the other weld that we did last time. It's a little different than the other side, but same idea, just capping off the holes. There's some of the holes right there. So those get slung up with mud and debris, and you know, if you drive in salt, it just kind of gets right in between these inner pieces of metal in the outer frame and just tears it up from the inside out. I'm gonna have to do some coating, maybe get some lubricants and kind of pump it into the frame every couple of months, because I'm gonna try and take this on the beach. Right now I'm working on this little puppy right here. It's not coming out great. I'm just learning how to weld. This is like my third time welding anything. You saw the other side, which majority of that my brother did, but I did a little bit of it. But putting some new sheet metal in here. The side step that was on here, it would collect mud right there at the back. That's another reason I took it off. And it left me a nice little pretty hole right there. It was a lot smaller than that, but once you start, you know, grinding away at the rod, it just kind of goes and goes. Just from, I thought I got all of it, just from me whacking it with a hammer a few times, all that rust dumped out of it. So yeah, it's not beautiful yet, but I'm gonna just basically make a back plate so that it is metal, and then I'm gonna fill it in with some fiberglass and Bondo, get it nice and smooth, make it look good. You're not gonna really see it that much, but I don't want mud and all kinds of shit getting in there. And then I'm going to do a little cap here, I think. A little piece. I kind of burnt through that because I was using that on a different spot. But this sheet metal is ultra thin, and my welding skills are not ideal right now. So I have burnt through a few things. But again, it's a learning curve, learning process. So I'll pop that in there, kind of like that. Weld it in so it doesn't get debris on that side. And then I'll find out a way to maybe put some kind of lining in here. Bought some material from Harbor Freight that might work. It's gonna be a pretty good backfill to kind of coat the inside, and I might even use some undercoating or something. I don't really like using undercoating, but for this circumstance, maybe spraying the inner part of this, or at least right where the metal is. Fill that in with any gaps or grooves and stuff. So that's what I'm working on now. So what else we got going on? Once this is done, I wrap in the hood. It's almost done in the shed. Pop the hood back on. Need to get this bumper off as well. I've got all the bolts but 2. So this is a stubborn son of a gun. If you've ever had to take one of these off, I did some trimming on it. I did a viper cut, and I did some additional taping just to kind of see how it would look if I cut it differently. I've got some cracks and damage on the bumper, so that's kind of why I want to cut it. Maybe remove the damaged part or just repair it if I can. I've fixed it a few times, but the bumper's so flimsy it re-cracks, so gonna have to figure that out. But so that's the next thing to go. Then we've got brand new upper and lower control arms on this thing, and but I also wanted to get the extended upper control arms. I actually purchased some from Amazon, thinking that that's what they were. They look identical to the extended, but they're not. Apparently they say for 2 to 3 inch lift. They're just a cheap tubular upper control arm, but apparently it has a slightly different ball joint angle, so it won't ruin your ball joints as quickly. That's the idea anyway. But it's really thick, and so it can't hit the bump stop or the top of the coil bucket with the bump stop, because it comes with these really thick bump stops on it. So I'll let you know how that works out if I put those on soon. That'll be the next thing I'm going to do once this welding in the back is done. So that's where I'm at with those things. So if I can get the upper control arms, patch this little bit of rust that's left, and you know, obviously put the hood and grill back on, I can run it up to the alignment shop, and I'll let, if anyone's curious, what the alignment's going to be like on something like this, because I've read a lot of horror stories, and I haven't had any success with it, but that's only because the camber bolts are seized. So we'll see what it looks like. I'm very hopeful that it'll align or come very close. Again, it's going to have maybe some coil bucket contact. There's not much I can do about that until I can save up some money. It's about $800 for the upper extended control arms that will give you a little bit more clearance, and then you may have to do some additional cutting on the coil bucket. As you can see, it kind of goes right underneath the upper control arm. It's difficult to see, not very good lighting, sorry about that. But yeah, so that's where that's at. Gonna have to just kind of treat her lightly, not really be a heavy off-roading vehicle anyway, but just because of that, I'm gonna have to be exceptionally easy on it until I can get those things worked out. But next job after the alignment, if it doesn't align, get those control arms offset bushings, and that'll give me the ability to get another half or 1 degree of adjustment out of it, and that should be enough to get the back wheels to sit flat and be nice and true, not be all towed out, because it was terribly messed up before the alignment was able to be adjusted. So that's where that's going, and done some other stuff, nothing too crazy. Everything in here is stuff, and it's not, you know, exactly clean in here. I've been using it as like my tool, basically my toolbox for the past year. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but I still got paints and stuff. I worked on this. This had a huge rust hole right through here. Fixed it last year, checked it this year when it started getting a little bit warmer, and saw this circle of rust around where I had filled it in, and it had rotted from about here all the way up here and all the way to this bolt actually up here. And I had to like put I had a routing tool or you know, a Dremel that I had to insert in there with like a special bit, grind all the rust out. Had a plate welded in, and then I just filled it with bond, just like I'm going to do on that lower ground effects that I'm working on now. But came out pretty good. I'm happy with that. Glad that part's over, because it was a pain in the ass. Do some cleaning up here. Put a nice little piece of trim in there. It's not done yet, but I needed the weather to be a little warmer so I could push. Yeah, it kind of pushes down in there. When it's cold, it didn't want to insert very well, so I'm gonna add some rust, kind of lining this. So painted it and put that in. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And as far as the back, I didn't do anything new back here. Just put a new net in the air, some hangers so I can hang it. Be able to put my shovel, my board, tow rope, coolers, all that good stuff. Take it out to the beach. I'm thinking of fixing a like some kind of awning off this. A friend of mine did it with his it was a Nissan. It wasn't a Pathfinder. In any case, he had a Nissan SUV, and he had basically put some U-bolts on top of his roof rack with an awning and just pulled it out, and it was about 6-7 feet, enough for him to go fishing and chill underneath. Really kind of a cool idea. He did it all himself, and so I'll keep you in touch if anyone's interested.